Hello, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. This is the Distinctive Bullshit Podcast. So, we had the honor by speaking to a friend of ours regarding chivalry. And is it needed? Is that something that is still expected? We talked to a really good friend of mine, Kay Renee, and we kind of, had some little mini conversations about her whole jazz and what she thought and felt, and as well as us regarding chivalry. Babe, what was your thoughts?
It went very well, but I would have to say that chivalry is one of those things that is something that men do out of the goodness of their hearts, and I think when they do it out of the goodness of their hearts, it's not really something women should be looking for necessarily or expecting, but be grateful for when it happens. Is kind of how I'm going to go on that one.
I feel like it can work both ways. I do think that it is needed, and that once we get back to that, I think you'll see a different mindset out of men and women. Like once you hold that person up to a higher standard in the beginning, and they know that that's something that you really enjoy and you like, I think more people would look at it like another form of love language. You know what I mean? Like you got all these different love languages, but
Chivalry is definitely a love language.
it definitely is. It should be added. So we still have another segment and part with her regarding red flags and expectations. So a little bit, you guys will get to hear how that conversation went. We started talking about what is expected when you start to what was it, beginning the very first
Like
portion
from the
of
first date on to what is after the first date, what does it look like moving forward when you're interested in somebody?
Yeah. So thank you guys for taking the time and listening, and check it out.
So, if he has kids, that's a deal breaker for me. Um, Especially with me already having two kids. Like, I don't. Now, if they're older kids, like, I'm going to say 16, 17, I can do that. But little ones, like under 10, no, little ones under 16, it's just a no for me.
16.
Yeah, because if I have two and then you have two, or even just more than that, for one, I don't want to deal with no drama. Not saying that's always the case, but most times that is the case. I don't want to have to deal with baby moms and all that stuff. So it's just enough for me. If they're older, you don't have to deal with that stuff. You know, not necessarily. Not like the little
Subjective.
Ones.
Yeah.
So I mean, kids. I can't say it's a complete deal breaker because again, I have kids, so I don't want someone to be like, oh, you got two kids, I can't mess with you. But it's for me, it's definitely an age thing for sure. So
Okay. Is it a deal breaker when you're first dating someone or while you're dating someone if they live at home? Male or female, if they live at home, why and why not?
No.
Whoever wants to start.
Not in today's age. No.
Okay.
I agree. Not in today's age.
Rents are just way too expensive now.
I'm gonna go to a certain extent. I agree with you.
What's the
Like,
what's the extent? Like what's the drop
My thing
off?
is, if you're just staying at home because rent is high out here, that's a deal breaker for me.
What?
Yeah, because I feel like I want you to have a more viable reason than that. Because that just shows me that you just lack drive. Because who doesn't want their own place? You're going to make it happen. Whether rent is $2,000, $1,800, or $16, you're going to make it happen. Now, if you're staying at home because you are saving for your own house,
Yes.
like a down payment on a house, or you're waiting for marriage, I got you. That's not a deal breaker. But just because, like, you just no.
It's a deal breaker.
Yeah,
It's a deal breaker
Yeah,
if you're
and I'm
waiting
not
because of
talking
marriage.
shit. Why?
No. That's,
Why?
If you're waiting because of marriage, that
may
means
never happen.
that may never happen. But even if it does happen, if you're going to wait to get married before you move in with somebody, you don't know how they're going to be.
Well, not necessarily to move in, but what if you're saving for your future life, if you will? I mean, even then, that sounds weird saying it out loud now because you don't know when you're gonna die. So
Jesus.
I mean, no, that's true. No.
For real. So I'm gonna backtrack. Maybe you're saving for a house. For me, that's the only exception. Or you're in school to be a doctor or some shit, and it's taking time.
To me, that's not enough.
No.
No.
And I don't want to clap cheeks at your mom's house.
I'm clapping cheeks at your mama's house, your auntie's house,
No, she's
uncle's
not.
house,
No, she's not.
grandparents' house, whatever.
No, she's
A
not.
house is a house.
No.
Okay, period. In the basement.
I could not.
Because here's my thing. All right. So by that thought, let's just say to me, okay, if you're going to school and you're doing all this, honestly, you have no business dating then. Because if you're that focused on what you got going on, you just need to come correct before you start trying to date. Not unless that person is truly okay with where you're at in life. They should be okay if you live at home. They should be okay if you're saving towards a house. They should be okay if maybe you're taking public transportation to get around, because the way that your life is set up is not really necessary. Because I feel like more times often than not, especially like generations coming up, you're going to find that they're staying at home. They're not.
And it's not a bad thing. Like how it used to be. Oh, you're a bum because you stay at home with your mom or your parents. I don't think that's necessarily like my initial thought.
Right.
Now after I talk to you and it gives that, then so yeah, I don't think it gives bum status anymore like how it used to. But again, after you talk to someone and you see that okay, they really have no drive, then that becomes an issue. Like okay, you really are just kind of bumming it at home, and then that's a deal breaker. You mentioned lack of transportation, right? Clearly, that's not a deal breaker for you, given what Amari said earlier.
But I think, okay, knowing my wife now,
Yeah.
I think it would be a deal breaker if if I wasn't as committed to getting to work and
Okay.
taking care of my business.
Okay. Like you didn't let that hinder.
I didn't let that. I walked. How far? That was like a 5-mile walk,
Oh,
close
for sure.
to easily,
God.
And I'd be
I
like, I,
would
ain't
either
picking
walk-
them up. I got stuff to do.
or ride my bike.
What do
Yeah.
you mean? That is still horrible to me.
How is that? My thing is this: if you're
Did you have time to take them though?
No, I was working 2 jobs at the time. So
Okay,
it was
alright.
more so, it wasn't like he was like waiting on me like, oh, I know you got to be at work, but so do I. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm fine. I'll go ahead and ride my bike, and then I would maybe pick him up. To me, that shows that you did have the drive because you wasn't banking on me because I was the one with
Right.
transportation to help you get back and forth.
And you was doing it before you met her, so I
Exactly.
mean that's a good point.
So it wasn't.
Okay.
You might run into that type of thing. You
And
never.
then
You,
that might be your soulmate.
you never know. You
I'm just
never
saying.
know. Don't
So you
count.
trying to say the man I see riding his bike down the street, I should be like, hey, what up?
You
Okay.
could
It's
be.
like, no, I'm playing with y'all.
That's a little extra, but
I see what you're saying. And car notes are expensive, so I mean, but then I just feel like, but now you're an exception though, Amari, because you didn't expect her to take you or pick you up once you
She
got with
offered.
her.
Yeah, she offered. I told her every chance
that's
I'm
rare,
good.
though,
Like I
like-
can ride my bike.
he
Like
did. He
I
better be
feel,
on
I
his
feel
little bike.
like someone shut up, not his little bike.
Like, no.
Hey, because I would have run away past her like, beep, beep, you good? You need some water? But I don't know. I don't know if I could because then you become the sole person transporting you guys everywhere. I don't know if I could be like,
That's okay.
until a certain if
at my age now, I wouldn't mind. Younger Kelly, no.
not a chance in hell.
It would not have happened. Absolutely not.
See, now I'd rather not do it now.
I
unless-
wouldn't mind now because I have more. I'm deeper, you guys. I've evolved. You know,
You've
matured a little
evolved.
bit. I have. I've
Okay.
matured a little bit.
You couldn't pay me to find a man with a bike now.
No, I couldn't. No,
What a
I
bike
couldn't
now.
meet you riding a bike. If you pull up at my house, you know what? It's a no for me.
Wait a minute.
My nigga, if I look
Tell
out the
you
window
that-
and your bike is parked at my front door, sir,
He's
how
gonna
you-
tell you to get on the
Get on the handlebars.
sir, you rode over here, but then does that show dedication?
You gonna be on the pegs.
Because if you rode your bike to come see me,
It's
That's
a 10
love.
speed. It don't got pegs.
but then again, I don't know. I'm backtracking
Okay.
because
go.
we got Uber. Right, you could
That's
have called
true.
an Uber. You didn't
That's
have
true.
to pedal over here.
Until y'all get kidnapped together in an Uber car. So I say that to say this.
Right.
What if he showed up in rollerblades? You
No,
going or not?
fuck
He was
no.
like, "This is part of
Is
our
this
date."
our date? Okay, yeah. Now, if it comes to find out that
I'm
this is
showing
your...
up. I'm
Hey.
showing up with rollerblades, and I brought you a pair, and we're about to go
that's
and run it.
cute.
Like,
That's cute.
Yeah.
I would like that. Now, if you show up every day with them shits,
There's a
then
problem.
then that's your means of
There's a
transportation. You
What
should
if,
have
what, if
disclosed
what if
that.
he showed up to your house with a guitar and he sang your way through his
Don't
day?
play with me. That's you. You got jokes today, huh?
She's reaching.
Okay.
She's reaching.
Right. You the reason I'm saying- okay. No, I do love instruments though. So, but don't play
I'm
guitar
like,
for me.
I would say take them damn skates and go skate your ass back
That's
home.
fun
I'm
though. I
not doing
can't
that.
skate for shit, so I'm gonna hold on to you. But that's
Because
fun.
then I'm gonna sue you. Because you thought this was a good date, and what if I don't know how to skate?
Aw.
No.
Then you hold on to his waist and y'all just. What's that ATL movie where they was like roller skating and shit? Or roll bounce?
roll bounce.
Roll bounce.
Yeah.
Nah.
Okay. Okay. Another deal breaker. So hygiene.
What do you mean?
If y'all are on a first date and you notice like those little booger things in their eyes
Eye
or
boogers.
whatever, there you go, eye boogers. If you notice that, if you notice he has a little wax in his ears, dirty fingernails, or vice versa with the female,
Yeah.
that's a deal breaker for me because that shows you can't even do the common
basics.
steps, the
Yeah.
basics. of
That's
what
not
you
a
do
deal
when you
breaker for me. Because
I was just on camera how we both looked at it just now because man,
Hold on.
what?
That's not a deal breaker for me. Because okay, so what if this man is trying to impress you, and he had a really really rough night, whatever the case may be. We don't know what that situation. See, I'm all about showing grace. I don't really necessarily care what you look like per se. I care, but not to a certain, like not to that intricate. So if you woke up and you're meeting me. And maybe you got a little eye booger. You know what? I'm confident to say, hey, you got something in your eye. You might want to just go like this.
But
Just,
you're
you
the
know.
same woman who would pick someone's booger. So that's just
okay.
a different. You're a different breed. I just feel like you show effort. You know what I mean? Like.
See,
When you clean
I'm
up
not-
a little bit.
But you know what? My
Yeah.
effort is different because I feel like the fact that whether you was tired or not and you barely washed your face, you showed up for your girl.
I don't
Holla
like
at
it.
your girl. And
I
then
don't like
and
it.
then if I see it, here's the thing. If I see it and you like, oh, hold on, let me go back and fix it. All right, cool. You really didn't really care. I think we get so caught up in perfection. Like what people, that's why I'm all for it. You want to go on a date with me? Let's go to breakfast.
Oh,
At 6 o'clock
I
in
want
the
to
morning.
see what you look like first thing in the morning.
Because if you, I'm gonna tell you what's a deal breaker for me. If I was a man, I'm acting like if I'm a man. I invite you out to breakfast at 6 a.m. and you're dolled up, bitch. We're not going on another date because you're
get
not
comfortable.
You're not confident. You who gets up and go with full eyelashes on, eyebrows slayed at 6 a.m. I'm not.
I'm
Because
indifferent
now you're
because-
hot. I'm not doing it.
But what if that's who she is in general? If she wakes up every morning to go to work and she does this for herself, what's the problem with that? I don't see an issue because I think everyone should take pride in how they look. I don't give a fuck if you're going to the airport, if you're running up the street to go to check the goddamn mail at the post office. Take pride in how you look. You never know what happens.
That is true.
So,
but
I
it
didn't do that.
Really?
It depends.
No, I do.
It depends on your style too.
I mean, that's true too.
Because
That's true.
who says that you're still not attractive with a bonnet? Who says you're still not attractive with a head wrap? And who said everybody know me?
A
They be like,
bonnet,
you
nothing
can
irks
doll
my
up.
soul more.
You can doll yourself up with
Ah.
a fucking bonnet. Bonnet, you better put a little wrap on it with some earrings and some lip gloss, honey. You popping.
No, ma'am. Bonnet,
not
no.
a bonnet?
No. Head wrap, I can see that because that can be cultural, that could be anything. A bonnet? Them shit with little frills around it? No.
You just
You look
come
like
in.
a shower cap. Like, that's so... I can't stand it.
You don't like bonnets?
I don't like bonnets. I don't like pajama pants in grocery stores.
I don't like
I
pajama
don't like...
pants.
It's
That's
like,
what Amari
show
does.
some...
Okay, hold on. In my defense, I'm at a point in my
There's
life.
no-
Hold on. I'm at a point in my life. I don't care. If you see me, and when I met her, I was dressed like a bum.
No, you.
Yes,
was in
I
line-
wa-
you
I
was
was
like
go-
t-shirt and a basketball shorts.
Yes,
Like,
exactly, a bum.
And it was hot outside.
That's not... That's
not
not
a
a
When-
bum.
but I didn't have on nice shoes. I
That's
literally
okay.
wore a dingy shirt, some basketball shorts, and I would ride my ass to work. I'm not gonna get dressed up, get on a bike, go to work, get hot and sweaty on a bike, and then turn around the next morning because I was working third shift and drive back
hot and sweaty on
pedal bike.
on the damn pedal bike. There's absolutely no way.
He said, drive back down, dog. You
Shut up.
pedal. It's like, no play.
Okay.
But
Like, no, brother.
but now, even now, I go out in pajama pants.
I hate
I've
it.
gone to drop the kids off
Like
at school
where,
in my
though?
I hate
snuggie.
it. He'll go to the school and drop the kids off
In a
with
snuggie.
In a snuggie.
I don't care.
No, you don't.
Yes,
Yes,
he does.
I do.
Yes, he does.
But you're not getting out the car, though, right?
no, yes, he does.
But,
He gets out.
I get out the car.
Yes, he does.
I'm
Every
And
sorry,
I've
that's not
walked in.
acceptable.
I do. I don't care. At this point, I make enough money to take care of my family. I don't have to look good for nobody.
It's not about looking good, though, because it takes the same amount of time they took you to throw that snuggie on. You could have threw some sweats on. You could have threw a hoodie on and went about your day.
That's
did you
doing
get,
too
What did
much.
you get put over, Amari? Now
I'm
you
going
got a
to jail in a
snuggie getting all
snuggie.
filled up, and you ain't got no drawers on. You ain't got no t-shirt on. So now you downtown in your mugshot in a snuggie. What? No, you.
But I
gotta
have
fix
no
these
reason to
things.
get pulled over and go to jail.
You don't know this.
I
What
do.
if your tail light was out? You just happened to get pulled
I'm
over.
not going to jail over a tail light.
Sir, are you in your snuggie? Then they got extra questions for you because why are you in a snuggie? Like, for real.
It's 80 degrees outside, sir.
Like, what's
why do you
up?
have a
What
snuggie?
Sir, are you on drugs?
Thank you. You got kids that go to this school in this area. Like, what are you doing? But okay, we got off topic.
No, I mean,
What was the?
what's the deal breaker
Okay.
on first dates?
Right.
Okay, yeah, we did
Okay.
get a little bit off
Little
topic.
bit?
Yeah,
Alright.
just a little bit.
Okay, so first dates, right? Okay. Ooh. This is the big one, and I've had this happen twice, you guys.
Uh-oh.
If you pronounce something on the menu wrong, that irks my
I
entire
want
soul.
some vaginas.
This dude, I kid you not, his name was Eli, and
Vaginas?
his name was Eli, y'all. I cannot remember his last name. This dude said, looked the waitress dead in her face and said, he said, "Can I have this entry right here?" Nigga, what?
Entree.
Entry?
Entry. The waitress, me and the waitress looked at each other like,
I think this date is over.
okay. Then she repeated it the right way. She was like, that entree comes with blah, blah, blah. He was like, yeah, give me that entry with the mashed potatoes.
Hold on, where
Say
was
it
he
again.
from?
Oh, you know what? This reminds me of a story. You know the Florida governor, Ron DeSantis? Apparently, oh, God, I wish I could remember what it is that he pronounces incorrectly on purpose, and he actually cancels dates with women, or he used to cancel dates with women because they would correct him. It was like something... So think of what I just said.
Because I'm correct.
Think about what I said. I said, "Oh yeah, fajitas." If he was correct, or if,
Oh,
if
fajitas.
fajitas,
I know what
if
you
you
meant.
would have
I thought,
corrected me,
shit.
he would have walked out of the date and left you at the table by yourself.
But see, I feel like you have to be able to be corrected and not be
See,
embarrassed.
You know
Like-
what though?
Yeah.
I'm the same person though that be like, yeah, go hit me the blush, which is bleach, okay? Because like grammar is and the English or the native language,
the American
it's
English
not-
language.
It doesn't
yes.
make any sense. So I'm gonna ask you this:
Okay.
what if he's from down south or something?
He wasn't.
They talk. Well, we don't know.
Let's
I don't
stop
know
that right
but,
there.
Yeah,
But you know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
bleach.
Or that's like when Cole Martin said horse divers. Nigga, what? But I would give
Horse
someone great-
divers?
You gotta remember the episode on Martin? Because Cole had got his own place, right? And he was like, it's like a housewarming. I'm gonna pull that clip up for y'all. But he was like horse divers, and it's hors d'oeuvres, right?
Oh.
Yeah. So y'all don't remember that scene? Oh my god. But yeah, I'm gonna pull it up for
Hors
y'all.
d'oeuvres, and he said horse
He said
divers.
horse divers, and he was struggling.
I
too.
don't remember
See,
that.
but you know what? I would feel like there's nothing wrong with that because why the fuck is it spelled like that? Why the fuck is it spelled like that? Make it fucking make sense.
Now you
How do you pronounce it?
Hors
Say it again.
d'oeuvres.
There you go.
Hors d'oeuvres.
Hors d'oeuvres.
So why did and what's it start with?
An H.
Why?
ORDERVES. Hors d'oeuvres.
Right, but it
What's
starts
the
with an
H?
H. What the fuck is the reasoning for? Anyway,
Okay, so
See what I'm saying?
So, all right, time out. So what you're saying is pronouncing menu items
Pronunciation,
wrong.
yes.
It's not a deal breaker for either one of you.
no.
If you said entry, or what did he say?
He said that man said entry.
Entry.
And said it twice after she said it correctly.
I would have been done after that date.
Thank you. And was. Yeah, it was. And we was at TJF Friday, y'all.
That was at
That's your
Fridays.
first mistake.
Right.
Y'all went to TGI.
Hey, I was young. I said in my earlier 20s.
You know what? I haven't had a Jack Daniel's burger in years. Do they still make those?
Good. My point is,
Sorry.
you didn't have to say entree. You could have just read, give me the chicken
Just give me
tender.
this. Yeah.
Like, why are you trying to be? But he was sweet. But it's a deal breaker for me.
How do you be? How are you sweet and mispronounce entree?
Some people do. I mean, it's like a person that's learning how to read. You don't know what you don't know. And that could have been a thing where maybe he's one that doesn't really get to go out and experience stuff like that. Like, people don't know.
That's what you're sweet at, though.
I am. I'm very sweet. I show grace.
She does. You are actually very compassionate.
I call
with
bullshit.
certain things. I'm not like.
I call bullshit because every restaurant you go to, you see entree.
Not everyone. If you go into a burger joint, it's not going to say entree.
That's true too.
It might.
At this point, you should know what it says.
Well,
entree.
at this point, but you're referring to a time late, like earlier in life, like.
You said in your 20s, we're like
yeah.
10
like
years ago. Yeah.
I don't know. I just believe in when it comes to a first date, there's no deal breakers for me unless we're on date 3 and 4. Because in that moment, you don't know where they're coming from.
Okay.
You can. That person might be the first time they have dated somebody in 5 years, and they're just so like discombobulated. They don't know what the fuck. So to me, there's no deal breakers on first dates for me. I have to get to know
I
you.
disagree.
I got to get to know you a little bit better and know your background a little bit better to figure out what it is.
Disagree, because by the first date, y'all should have already had a plethora of conversations over the phone to where you have gotten to know this person a little bit more.
Over the phone?
Absolutely.
I don't talk to people like that on the phone.
That's what I was gonna say.
Well, hold on.
Well, that leads me to my next deal breaker, but go ahead.
When
Because we met face to face, and our first date was at B Dubs, and we say that it's our first date because that was our initial contact. Like, I was visiting a friend. My said friend was friends with him, didn't even know he had a fucking roommate, and he came downstairs and was like, "Did you meet my roommate?" And I was like, "When the fuck did you get a roommate?" And me and my friend, we were getting ready to go to B Dubs. Omari was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go." He was very nice, and then it took a month?
A month
and a
before
half we met again, and it wasn't even then. It wasn't a date. My friend was coming over because we have movie marathons, so I didn't know much about him. You know, then it took us dating, and we would go to
Oh no, the very first date was
IHOP.
IHOP.
Yeah, but even then,
And I think I had gotten off of work
yeah,
that
like
morning
third shift, yeah.
from third shift and met her first thing in the morning.
Yeah.
That's cute.
Well, the place was right down the street from my job, so
Did you ride your bike there?
I think I
think
rode my bike back to the house,
And
and
I
then
came and
you
picked
came
you
and
up.
picked me up. Yeah.
Y'all are different.
Yeah, because it
You
was.
can't ride no bike with me. I stand on it. Amari, we would have just been besties. Like,
Really?
I was dedicated though. I was
I know,
dedicated. I
I
took
don't
care of my
know.
business. I
He
went to work.
did.
I paid my
I
child
get
support.
that. And that's the immaturity in me. And I'm talking about back then.
Well, back then,
it
yeah.
Wouldn't have,
It wouldn't have flowed.
It wouldn't have went for me.
I
But,
think.
I was into all types of shit back then.
Well, what was your other deal breaker?
Okay, you said you're not a talker on the phone, right? That's a deal breaker for me. If you're constantly texting me and you can't call to have a conversation, that's a deal breaker for me. I don't
Hold
like
on.
it.
Segue, not even a segue, but rebuttal. Okay. I'm not a phone talker.
Okay.
I can hold conversation, but I need time to think about what it is that I'm going to say. There's times that me and my wife will sit there and we'll have conversation, and I will wait to reply to her in text message maybe a couple days later, because I've had time to finally process all the information that's been flooded into my brain. And this is what I meant to say when I was responding to you. This is how I wanted you to really dissect the information.
And that's why you call, though. You pick up the phone, because a text message can be misconstrued something crazy. So
Yes.
why not just call, say your piece for about 10, 50 seconds, whatever you got to say, and let that be it. Like, I'd rather hear your explanation. I want to have a full conversation with you. You can't get that through a text.
I disagree, and to a certain thing, because most of our conversation in the beginning was unfortunately through text message, because he worked third shift and I was on first and second shift. So a lot of our communication, we still have the
old text messages and stuff.
because it's
Yeah.
linked to like our email. And we were like talking at like 2 a.m. and I had to be at work at like 6 or 7. But we were like, because he couldn't talk on the phone because he's working third shift. And I necessarily didn't want to talk because I'm like dozing it off, but I would just be like, I would just check my phone, like, okay, he responded back. I may or may not respond back. But I think a lot of our first interactions was text messages and then in person. We had a lot of in person time. Sometimes a lot of our communication on first dates was taking a nap together. Honestly, like not
those
to
are
be
the best dates.
not to be funny, like
What? You invite me over for a nap date and not expecting anything?
Like, just come
That's-
over and sleep.
And sleep?
Yeah.
What? That's amazing.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I
Yeah.
can't necessarily say that you not calling me all the time because sometimes that's why like one of the things I've been working on and I've been even with Omari, if I'm having a bad day or something, and even like in the beginning, like, hey, I'm having a bad day. You know, I'm really not in a mental capacity. I think we have to normalize that because some people just don't. It's not that they don't want to talk to you.
Right.
It's just that maybe they had a fucked up day and they rather just text you so that way your mood and your tone doesn't come off because that shit comes off on over the phone. Like,
Okay.
you don't really seem interested. Then you hear how they sound and then that might be a
It-
deal breaker.
That's
You might
okay.
be like,
That's where communication comes into play, though.
see, maybe
Yeah.
I'm weird.
And a
You
lot
are.
of people don't communicate well. So.
No, a lot of people don't. And
Yeah,
now
if you're having a
nowadays,
bad day, you could just be like, look. But then people are so, what's the word I want to use?
sensitive.
Sensitive, insecure these days that if you say, hey, I had a rough day today, I really just don't feel like talking to you. A female or even men sometimes will
Sometimes,
automatically
like, what did I do?
assume
Oh shit!
that
Blah, 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 blah.
or, oh, you're messing with your other person.
Yeah.
You know
You
what I
think
mean?
so?
Oh,
Conclusions,
absolutely.
yeah.
You jump
Assumptions,
to conclusions
yeah.
instead of just being like taking this for what this man is saying or girl is saying. It's like, no, I had a rough day. I'm legit about to go to sleep. It's hard to fathom these days that you're doing that, or you have all this other stuff going on like Facebook, Instagram. You can see if somebody's online. So
Oh,
if they tell
I-
you they don't want to talk to you because they're having a bad day, but you see
But
them
then when
online.
doing
It's
otherwise,
like, oh, what do
yeah.
I do? They want to talk to me. It's like, no, get out your feelings. Like, quit being sensitive. They still can do what they want to do. They just don't want to feel like being bothered, you know? So,
Yeah, but if if you're posting on social media and you don't want to be bothered,
maybe
I have a
not
problem
posting,
with
but
it.
maybe you just, your green light is on. You're scrolling.
Oh well, if you're scrolling,
You know
yeah,
what
that's
I mean?
one thing. Like, yeah, I
Yeah.
don't want to be bothered. Let me just see what other people are doing.
Hold on, I'm gonna interject. My thing is this, but why are you so pressed if they posting something on Facebook?
That part too.
Like,
that too.
and
I
just
don't
because
get
they don't
it.
want to fuck with the kid right now, all right, cool.
Yeah,
Like,
maybe
just
they
say
want to
that.
get something off their chest. They posting a meme that they can relate to in this moment because they don't feel away or they do feel away.
Well, we're gonna take a break
Okay.
and we're gonna lead with our ending part of it on a couple things, and we'll be back. Talk to me.
I used
Leave
to
me
do that.
alone.
I used to do that. I can go somewhere in fucking sweatpants and a hoodie on,
Yeah.
and it still happens because at the end of the day, if you, whatever.
No,
and
that's
so
not-
it just turns out like, well, shit, I might as well dress how the fuck I want to dress because it doesn't matter anyway.
You know what? It doesn't happen to me because I realized something. I have.
Booty when you come out the house.
I can't. I have
Force.
RBF a little bit, and I have RBF. I have resting bitch face. And
Yeah,
on top of that, I do. I have
You're
RBF.
recording right now, yo.
No,
I don't want to be in there.
I have RBF,
I like to watch though.
and
They talk shit behind the camera.
on top of that,
Look at his arms, though.
I have a couple things working against me. RBF, I'm tall, and that's already a
That's
10.
not what these
Hold
niggas
on.
love
Wait.
talking about. I don't know what
Wait.
to say.
Not tall men.
Yes, they do.
I ain't never.
Yes, they do.
I have never. This is my person.
Not a single time.
Not a single.
Because
This is
she
what I have
tells-
working against
she
me.
tells
I'm not
everything.
lying. I already have RBF. I'm tall, and I'm dark skinned. So to the average person, she's a bitch. So I'm not. I'm just
I can see
not.
that.
I've never dated anybody porous color. They have either been look like Omari or mixed.
I am
Same.
mixed. What are you talking about?
I'm probably gonna
Yeah, you brown
You
skin.
tanned a lot.
Yeah,
so
you a
thank
little
you.
brown.
hang.
You almost dark skin.
You are.
Look.
Melanin. I'm activating my melanin.
But
Oh,
I
okay.
will agree with you on that.
Yeah.
I've always dated a Mars complexion or like what is that?
I gotta be able to see you.
What am I calling it? What is that?
Like- Brown skin,
no,
mixed, light high yellow.
like Katie's color. What is
Brown.
that?
That's
like
brown,
That
yeah.
tan, like that. Yeah, like that. I've never had dark skin. I've never dated dark skin. Let me.
I've never dated
Like
or
chocolate dark
Yeah,
skin.
like chocolate,
Okay.
and I've always wanted, like, I want chocolate like this nigga right here, like just ooh, never had it, or just dark skin in general. They don't typically go for women
Like,
of like
They're
you know,
usually
brown, it's
I've
lighter,
I've seen them usually with like white women or very
or very
light skin.
light-skinned
Yeah.
women, yes.
I feel like that's black men in general.
No,
No.
no, no, no. Okay,
don't-
I
I
tell
don't
Whitney
agree
this
with
all the
that.
time. The only reason I was with Ashley was because I had never until Ebony, I had never had a black woman want me as bad, not as bad, but at all until she did. At all.
No, them white women wanted you. You was just a little nerdy.
No.
You wasn't bringing it.
There
Oh,
was-
God, you were a good looking man. No,
Thank you.
There was, but you know what?
Like,
I'm not.
It's just the character you are. This is what we get.
Right. Thank you.
You really like tapped into like, damn, I'm badass, mom. Like, I look good. And
Yeah.
If you let me
your
sit and
character,
boot you, Amari,
bro, you and your demeanor.
Whitney
change,
would be like, "Where you going?" Nigga,
No, I wouldn't.
You say,
She
you
knows.
Bruh, don't hang with me.
let me get Amari.
Listen,
Yeah,
I listen. He don't need that. I could do that. You know who my dad is. My dad is a sharp ass man.
Sure did.
I'm not. No,
I've
but
never seen you that.
Hey, real
yes,
shit,
you
though.
have.
Yeah, you
cut-
have.
What if I told you me and your dad had sex?
Okay.
Did you
Anyway,
really?
No, I'm telling
Oh.
you. How would you feel about this?
but
I think it would be
wouldn't
hilarious.
Bother me.
Okay.
But I'm done. Shut up. Listen.
I believe it.
So here's the
Look good like
thing.
that. Let me see your daddy.
I'm
He's
all
sharp.
for. I'm all
He's
for.
on TikTok, right? Just doing nasty dance. His dick just bop, bop, bop. Yeah.
Oh, he got banned. Oh, he got
He got
banned.
banned.
You got a band?
Yes.
Just swinging.
He would do videos.
Okay, well, here's the thing. I am all for. I want people to be authentically themselves. Omari has always been. His style is like the cargos, nice little button-up polos, little beach shoes. That's literally him, right? Why you say it like that? Right? But listen, and even like with his dreads and stuff, that's how he was. Which, yeah,
I
but
miss my
but
dreads.
but that is him. I'm not ever gonna be portrayed. I just like people. It don't matter. You could be bald head. You could be because his daddy fine. But anyway,
She did tell me that.
ah,
You met my dad, or you've
I
seen
want
my
to
dad
see
before.
Mr. Jenkins now.
No,
Jenkins
it's
Figueroa.
Figueroa,
Oh, I love
yeah.
that name too. Figueroa.
I know he fine when Keisha was like, I want the daddy. Fuck Omari. I want the daddy. my sister.
Oh, yes, sir.
Oh, the one
Hey,
that.
look, he got very like.
Yeah.
I don't know. She might have. If your dad look
No.
good, he look good. Fuck it.
Yeah.
And he looks very young. But to me, that's motivation. Like, damn, that's what Omari's gonna look like. I had to put a disclaimer out on him. I said, didn't I? When you met mommy, I said, just so you
Oh
know,
yeah.
my mom has a big ass.
Come on,
Like I said,
Yeah.
so I don't want you to I don't want you to brace yourself. And what my dad was like, yeah, you do got that ass. But that's how they are.
I mean, you go daddy. All right, so
But-
you come
Daddy Walker.
He does too much.
He does just enough.
on. Yo, you just gave that old man son in you. Know?
She probably did.
Did you fucking you don't know?
I don't know. I don't kiss and tell.
She probably did. Or she. That's my dad. My dad is a sharp dude.
That ain't your daddy.
Yeah, that's her
Let me
dad.
see what picture you showed my book. Let me
Timmy's in it. That's my dad.
I don't like that.
Nah, nobody does.
54. 54?
Yes. Cause what?
And listen, and this
Yeah.
man can dance. Do you hear me?
He dances. He does everything.
Sing, dance.
He does everything a 20-year-old should be doing. Like
He's like, I mean,
he be dressed to the T.
Well,
And
that's-
Yeah, like
6'2"?
piercings and stuff.
yeah.
6'2", yeah, 6'2", 6'3",
Yeah,
yeah.
something
He
like
ain't
that.
don't play on other teams sometimes, do you?
He got his ears pierced, his nose pierced.
If I
His
would've
dick
seen
is
this
pierced.
picture, I would've been like, I don't know. He
Yeah.
might like, he might.
It's, he got like 6 or 7 studs in it or something like that. Yeah,
But when you see him in real life, you be like, oh.
yeah,
God damn.
yeah.
That's the shit you don't hit with a condom. You gonna feel that.
Wow.
Wait.
Yeah, he
He got
is.
that many right there.
Yeah, he's got like the little studs along his dick.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
He
he
got
does.
piercing in his dick.
Yes,
He said it
several.
feels good. Like, that's another thing. Hold on, wait. No,
No, you're not doing that.
Also, I will say this. That's why my perception of men is different because
Why not man get an OnlyFans or something?
Okay.
that.
You know what? He would probably
would
make a lot of money.
That's why y'all don't know it.
Here's the thing, though. that's probably why my perception is different on men and dating because
You alone?
no, my dad is
Are
very.
they together still, your mom and dad?
My mom and dad, no, I can't.
That one in that picture?
Yeah.
But I think that my dad has given me so much insight of that, like you can't like really judge a book by its cover.
Welcome back. This is the Distinctive Bullshit Podcast, and we are going to conclude with expectations and first dates. Kelly,
Okay.
what you got?
So, expectations after the first date? Is that
Yes,
what we're going
after
with?
we'll go with after the first date. Yes.
Okay. So, after the first
Things
date.
go good on the first date,
Okay.
and you want to move forward.
Okay.
What's the plan?
I think that the plan, my expectation is that you contact me, right? Because as a man, I want you to take the lead. So if you obviously, if you're feeling me, if you have some type of interest, you should call me after the first date. Don't text me. Don't say,
You want a
"Ooh,
phone call?
I do. I want a phone call. I said because if text is like, "Ooh, we had a nice dinner. Let's go out again." My answer is no. Don't, that's a big one. Don't ask me out via text. If we really have interest in each other, call me. Pick
I
up
wanna
the
hear
phone.
your
I want to
voice.
hear.
Yeah.
I want to hear some type of excitement in your voice.
Authenticity.
Yeah, because anything else can just be like, oh, let's go out again because maybe you're expecting some ass. You know what I mean? I want to hear
Right.
in your voice that you really have interest. So that's an expectation after the first date. If it's a real first date, then yeah.
Okay.
So,
Okay. I
Whitney,
can feel it.
phone call or text is fine.
What you want with?
It don't matter to me.
Really?
Short and simple.
Not at all.
No.
What? So you okay if a man texts you like, hey, this was a good first date. Do you want to meet up later on this week? That's okay?
Yeah, because I might be in a mood where I didn't really want to hear your voice, but thank you for checking in.
Omari, would you call or text a woman that you genuinely had a good time with on the first date?
Knowing me, it would depend on how well the first date went.
Right.
If
And
it went
that sets
very,
the tone, right?
yeah, that'll set
Right.
the tone for me. We had another guest show up, and he's just sitting in the background right now. He's making obscene gestures, and it's pretty funny. It's pretty- But for me, I'm probably gonna call you
Thank you.
because I want to hear
You're a
the
gentleman.
excitement in your vote. Are
Yeah,
you
and
are you
vice versa.
just as excited as I am
Exactly.
to meet up for the second date?
That doesn't
Exactly.
work for me.
Why?
And because I already have this nice, smooth, sexy, sultry voice. So
Okay.
I'm not going
Wow.
to give you the reaction you might not. How many times has that happened to us, Omari?
What?
That's why he doesn't surprise me. He
Oh yeah,
expects,
I don't
no,
surprise
for
her
real.
anymore. No.
He expects this. Oh my gosh! I'm like, that was really nice. He'd be like, oh, bitch, you didn't like it. So me going on an extra date and
Yeah.
following up, he made just from my tone alone. Maybe you know what? She wasn't really feeling me. I can't count that. I
But-
just can't.
That is very true.
I can't count
But
it.
then again, that's where communication comes into play because at that point, he should already know that you're very just.
Well, now,
Yeah, now he
yes.
knows that.
Now I do absolutely. Well,
so
I
you're
sup-
saying initially that could come off as like, she's not really.
she's not really
into it.
interested, right?
I mean, that goes both ways. I don't know. I feel like as a gentleman, you should set the tone for what is going to happen moving forward. If you don't call me, I'ma assume that you didn't like the day, you weren't feeling
Well,
me,
hold on.
and I'm not going to contact you. And
Hold
that's
on.
just
What if? And I'm just saying this because I'm me.
yeah.
Women want equal rights. Women want to be
Here you go.
treated just
Here you
like
go with this
men.
again. Oh my
Women want to be
gosh.
treated just like men.
Do
okay.
they though?
Yes.
No. In what aspect?
Every aspect.
Get the
What?
fuck outta here.
Are you kidding me? Come on now.
Name me three. Yeah, give me three aspects that women wants to be treated like men. Legitimately wants to be treated like men. Please.
They want to be treated like, well, first of all, in the workplace.
How? Why? Because we want to get paid just for doing the same
And,
fucking job?
and I don't want you to misconstrue what I'm saying here. I'm all for women getting equal pay, getting equal everything.
Okay.
Okay. But with equality comes expectations from
Okay.
the man. Okay. So if you want to be treated equally, I want you to see we're
Let's get
equal
into
on this.
that one,
Yes.
'cause
we're-
I'm big on workspace stuff. So boom, you're
not
trying
even
to say
okay. Well, hold on. We're talking about dating.
Okay, all right.
If you want to be treated equally, if I send you a text
Okay.
and I say, you know what? I had a great time. I can't talk right now. I'm blah 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 blah. Call
Okay.
me when you get a chance.
I,
You
okay,
don't
I-
call me, but you
okay.
send me a text saying, "Oh yeah, I had a wonderful time." Okay, well maybe you just wasn't feeling the date all like that.
I'm with you on that one.
What?
I am with you on
Okay.
that one. If you ended as I'm busy at work right now, but I wanted to reach out to you and say, hey, you know what? I enjoyed our date. Give me a call when you have some free time. But in that same token, if you're busy at work, how am I supposed to know when it's okay to call you?
Okay,
You know what I
that's
mean?
the thing. You don't.
So
but
just
you
call
anyway.
I'm with you on that one.
That way,
That shows
as a
initiative. That
man,
shows that you
okay,
have the
you show
same-
interest.
Okay.
We're on the same.
But then that goes back to y'all wanting to be women, low key, because now you want her to validate your feelings or reciprocate your feelings.
Absolutely.
That's I know.
Absolutely. With and I'm just speaking for me. With the experiences that I've had with women,
Mm-hmm.
if a woman doesn't show the same level of energy
Okay.
and interest and
Yeah.
excitement, okay, we'll say me and you go on a date.
Yeah.
The
Ooh.
very first
Like,
day,
I'll play it. I'll play it.
we go on the first date. Things go well.
Uh-huh.
I send you a text message and I'm like, "Hey, I had a really great time."
Mm-hmm.
But you send me a text a couple hours later, like, "Yeah, I did too. It was great."
That means she's not interested. I'm a firm believer in 9 times out of 10. Let me backtrack. 7 times out of 10, most people have their phones on them. I don't give a fuck. If you got kids,
All the time.
you got kids, you have your phone within 10 feet radius
Yes.
of yourself.
Absolutely.
So,
That's a
except
negative.
For her, 'cause she's on Do Not Disturb for whatever reason.
I've been on Do Not Disturb for 7 years.
It's weird.
And still gets back to everybody like she's
And
normal.
you know what I mean? So I'm saying, people be like, oh, I'm just now, you know what, my pet, I'm just now seeing your text.
I'm just not.
Get the
No,
fuck
you're
outta
not.
Here.
No, you're not.
That's
With
not
this
true.
one?
That's me.
With this one,
I am like
Because
that.
you're on Do Not Disturb for no
No,
reason.
no. My Do Not Disturb is this, because I'm gonna be completely clear and transparent. We are living in a world and a society where people expect you to jump at their every beck and call on a phone call, text message, or anything. When I'm at work, I'm at work. I shouldn't have to explain to you why I'm not answering your phone call. If I'm with my
Okay.
husband, I'm with my husband. If I'm with my friend, if it's me and you,
Right.
and you call me and I don't answer your phone, it's because I'm with somebody and I'm really truly trying to dedicate my time to them, not being engaged in my phone. That's why I started going to Do Not Disturb, because I am a person that really tries to give everyone their equal, undivided attention.
I'm indifferent.
So I don't necessarily want to hear from Susie while I'm with my girl Kelly, because right now this is our time.
Okay.
Unless you was invited, then you just need to hit me up on another time.
But that's different though, because we're talking about people of interest that you are freshly dating, right?
Yep.
If me and Amari, okay, if we're freshly dating, right, and I'm out with you, you're my girl, right? We're out, and he texts me, hey, what are you doing 2 days from now, or whatever? I want to get together, right? I see the text, I put my phone down, I wait till I get home. 4 hours later to text this man, for me, that's not okay, because it's a quick 2-second, hey, I'm out with my friend right now, that sounds good, I'll call you later.
I'm
Boom,
not gonna-
that's done. That means he's not going to call me no more because he knows I'm
I
out.
know what you're
it's
doing.
Communicating.
I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say,
Damn.
I saw your text message. Unfortunately, I was out with someone.
That
Thank you
sounds
for
so
reaching.
dismissive. That
It's
means I'm
not.
not important to you.
That's not dismissive, because it's kind of like, you have your time, I have my time.
yeah.
And that's just what it is. I shouldn't expect the automatic. You wanna know why I don't get upset
It
when
ain't
people
gotta
don't
be
call
like
me back?
right then and there.
No.
But if you have the time, let me hear you out. If you have the time, your phone buzz ring, whatever, right?
Well,
Oh,
I don't know
look
it. It's
at
on Do Not Disturb, ma'am.
Okay, well you're an exception. You're an exception, right? But the normal person, if they hear their phone go off, they're going to look at it. Most people text reads on their phone or on your little
Oh, the
fancy
read
little
receipts?
watch. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So I'm saying, if you can take the time to read it and then put your phone back down and carry it on about your business,
Okay.
that's dismissive as fuck to me.
It can be depending on what type of person you are. So I'm the type of
Okay.
person though that this is the exception. My phone is on Do Not Disturb right now as we speak, right? But
Okay.
typically, I am what you call the cheater person, and I'm gonna tell you why. I'm not really cheating, but I do this all the time. You wanna know why?
Wait.
The shush.
Flip to shush.
Literally,
I
when
like
I'm like
it.
this, I'm with my kids. I'm busy.
No
I don't
text
care.
messages,
I don't
no
care
phone
what's
calls,
going
no
on. I
notifications,
just
no
don't.
nothing.
I don't.
And
Everything
see,
is
I
silence.
think that's where we're different because I think with me, I have so many people who are older in my family.
Mhm.
I have sisters with kids. Like, I don't I can't shut myself off like that because what if it's an emergency? And a lot of times, and maybe that's what is that PTSD or whatever, right? If I miss a call and something really happened, I will never be right.
Yeah,
with
you
it,
wouldn't.
So,
ever.
Yeah.
so that actually happened to me, and I can tell you this: I had to realize, God, the universe did not leave me in charge. So it doesn't matter if you're calling me an emergency. I'm not going to get there in enough time anyway. So therefore, my phone being off doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
But what if
Now, and I say that because so I was in a situation like with my nephew.
Yeah.
I was at a job where I couldn't have my phone. Like it had to be off, it had to be put away. It didn't matter. There's a final plan anyway. Either you was gonna make it or you wasn't. So me rushing to answer the phone call really didn't matter. It didn't matter. Because my thing is this, if I'm answering in that moment, now I'm causing myself to panic. I could have gotten in a car accident. I could have done so much more even leading up to it. So therefore, when I'm in a better space, and that actually, I feel like that is exactly what helped me get to the destination without being, I just saw 25 missed phone calls. I saw that my mom called, and I saw that she was the one primarily. I didn't even call anybody back. Only thing they said was get to the hospital. But in that moment, it was going to take me 30 minutes, 25 minutes anyway. It wouldn't have mattered.
Okay.
It wouldn't have mattered.
I mean, I mean, in that logic, that is true.
It is.
Oh, you're tearing up. I want to hug you. I'm very emotional. You say I'm not, but I am.
No.
Don't look at me.
Okay,
Tell
sorry. But it's
Like-
really true. Like, you can't, I feel like people shouldn't live life like that. Like, I feel like people that do that,
On
you're
edge
you're
with
living
your
on
phone.
edge.
Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
Okay. Let's reel it back to.
But wait, hold.
To like relationships, right? Though, because that's what we're going off of.
Yeah.
Your expectations in a relationship. If your husband, your boyfriend, your significant other texts you,
Oh,
is it a
We're
deal
bad.
breaker? Like, not deal breaker. Obviously, you're together at this point, but is there a time frame like you should respond? Like,
no.
I feel like after an hour, what's up?
Nah.
We squaring up, my nigga, because there's nothing that.
Here's a good example. Literally Friday, I did not talk to this man at all. You know what
No,
he
wait,
said?
wait, hold on,
That's
hold on.
fine.
Oh,
That's
hold
not.
on.
That's not a problem.
Wait,
but if
hold
I
on.
ask you a question,
Oh no, that we are bad at that. Listen to this. Go ahead.
Hold
y'all
on.
10 years in, though, that's different.
Okay, well, yeah,
we're
we're
talking about
10 years.
fresh relationships. What's your expectations?
In a fresh relationship, you can't expect somebody to get back to you immediately.
Yep.
Period. When you're fresh,
Yep.
because
You just
you show
can't.
interest in
Not
somebody.
immediately. An hour is not immediately.
That's immediate to me.
Now, if you got a warehouse job, I'm not texting. That's another thing. People got to understand people have regular lives, right?
Yeah.
I'm not texting you. If I know you work first shift, I'm not texting you between 8 and 5 p.m. I'm just not going to do it unless I know that you have the type of job to where you have
You
the
can
freedom
respond.
to do so. Right. You
That's
know what I
fair.
mean? So that's boundaries. That's one. So some people set themselves up to be pissed off. You know what I mean? You just do.
Yeah.
So,
Okay. What about financial aspect? If you're meeting a guy and
Oh.
where
they're
my
ma-
shallowness comes
Oh,
in according to
shit.
Whitney.
you're meeting a guy
Yeah.
or you're talking to a guy per se, and let's just say that I don't know, they don't make the best of money,
What we talking?
and okay, we're just gonna say they make 40 a year.
Are they single? Like they don't have kids?
They have kids, and y'all dated, but you got past the first part. You got past the full initial dating. What?
Not good.
40 a year and you got kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
You
dog, you need to
poor.
do better.
You're living in poverty.
I'm lucky.
This day and age,
Yeah.
that's
I'm
poverty.
just saying, but think about what you were making when me and you first
Well,
met.
okay, but which was wildly different.
Exactly.
When me
I
and her first
understand
got
that,
together,
but-
I was making $15 an hour. I was paying my child support. Now, mind you, my child support is not much at all,
Right.
which I am grateful for. But I was able to pay my child support. I didn't have to pay rent because I didn't have a place to live. We were
Right.
squatting.
Right.
The
Why you
only
laughing?
thing I had to do
him and my boy
was
Wayne
save
was
money.
squatters.
All I had to do was buy food,
Yeah.
pay utilities,
Right.
and pay my child support.
But the financial part, right?
I'm gonna hit that one.
Financial literacy plays a huge part of
It
that
plays
for
a
me.
huge
Hold
role.
on,
So,
hold on,
If you
hold
can't
up.
manage your funds and you make 40 a year, it's
That
a deal breaker for
that
me.
I can see that.
That's not a deal breaker for me.
Absolutely, all day.
It's not a deal breaker for me because you don't know what you don't know. And sometimes, hear me out, sometimes people get dealt with some shitty ass hands. They really do. And it doesn't matter. Have you ever met somebody that they just can't catch a break?
So you believe a person is a circumstance?
Most of the
To
time,
a
more
degree,
time,
yes.
often than not, they are. And I feel like it's a good example. If you are brought up in a family where all you seen is chaos, and that's how you live life, at a certain point, you'll realize, like, this is not the life I want to live. But it may take some time because you have to unlearn everything that was taught to you.
It don't
right?
take 40 years.
It might not. Some people learn it, but you can't even really say that. Let's go in career. Some people know right off bat when they're
That's
little
true.
kids what they want. Some people don't know.
Yeah, I didn't
You
figure.
knew, right.
Look,
No,
I
some-
didn't figure out what I wanted to do until after I started playing Halo with this guy.
Really?
Me and a buddy of ours, Trav, was like, you know what? I want to learn how all this shit works.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. Now that you mention it, how does this shit work? And-
I do. Okay.
But you
In
see
that,
what
in
I'm-
that aspect, I do agree that some people can help you grow in
Thank
areas
you.
where you didn't
Realize.
know better.
Yes.
But that was not the scenario you guys gave. You
I said-
no, for real, because we listen. You said financial, or we say
Financial
status.
literacy. Yeah.
No, I said in the financial aspect, what is expected? Like,
Okay.
are you expecting? Okay, you got past the first part of the date. You
Okay.
guys are dating.
We're a
now,
year in now.
You're a year in now. Are you moving in together? Are
No.
you after a year?
After a year, no.
Why not?
Because I feel like you don't really know someone until 2 years.
What?
I stand on that. The first year, you really only know what that person is willing to expose to you. You don't know who that person really is. Most of the time, okay, let me ask you
To a
this,
degree.
right?
To a
on,
degree.
wait,
Hold
wait,
on.
wait.
I
No,
can
that's
answer. I can
real.
answer
you
to
can hide
this.
who you really are for a good 2 years. I swear to God, you can.
I feel like you know what I'm gonna say.
Wait,
to that?
hold on. I want her to finish because
Hold on,
I
okay,
can.
okay.
I can. I've
Go
been
ahead,
in two
go ahead,
different.
go ahead.
now,
Go ahead.
now, because think about this, right? What if you meet a woman, right? She be like, "Ooh, I own my own business, or I'm the CEO at this company downtown, right?" How many times are you really gonna follow up on that? You're not. This bitch could be working at Popeyes across town, and she talking about she a CEO somewhere, a CCO somewhere. You don't know because you really don't pop up at no one's job. You don't validate where they work or what they do. She could be a sex worker for all you know. Ooh, I'm about to go meet with my client. Meanwhile, it's Brother John's knocking at her door, but it's her client because she told her she has her own business, and that's
So
you
it
know what I
takes
mean?
you. It'll take you 2 years to
It
figure that
might,
out.
Because again,
Absolutely
how many times
not.
are you really gonna find out,
You
Amari?
you are.
You're
Hold on.
not.
Okay. So I've been in two different situations. Okay. The first situation, I was with my baby's mom, and she got to see
Ex-wife.
ex-wife. Yes, she's my baby's mom,
Put
ex-wife.
some respect on her name.
Okay.
Okay. She got to see me when I started gaming. Okay. She got to see the bad,
Okay.
mostly the bad side of me. I used to spend hours a day playing video games.
Oh,
Yes, it was bad.
oh, that's a deal
I was
breaker.
not. I was
a deal
not.
breaker?
Yes.
I will.
Oh,
I will
Lord.
admit. I will go on record and say I was
Whatever.
not the greatest spouse. I wasn't the greatest, but I had to learn that. When I met this one, she knew immediately how I was from literally day one.
I literally went to work and said that's gonna be my husband within a matter of a month.
Oh, that's so cute.
I had to learn. Yes, she did.
Yes, I
She
did.
did, and she's got proof.
And
She's
people
got
laughed
proof.
at me. I swear to God, they was like, "You're crazy."
But I do believe that. I do believe like when it's someone's like really your person,
You know.
you know.
You absolutely
and
know.
if you don't know, and it takes you time, if it takes you, okay, what does Steve Harvey say? 6 months. Every man knows within 6 months that they're gonna marry that woman.
I
True
think
or
you.
false?
I think you know before.
Yeah, I knew exactly.
it's false.
I knew.
I'm indifferent because again, I feel like sometimes you really don't know who that person is.
You know what though? Here's my thing. I feel like you never know who a person is.
That's true too, because you're always gonna grow. You have different
Yeah,
seasons of your
that
life.
too.
Well,
but
oh.
there's 3 parts of life. I'm gonna write a book on it.
Okay then.
There's your secret life, your private life, and your public life. And the reason why I say
My
that,
secret life is a hell of a thing.
Ooh,
your
shit,
secret
girl.
life is what you keep close and dear, true, tried to yourself. Your public life is what you want to put off to the public and make it seem like you're doing. And your
Okay.
private life is what you kind of want to keep to yourself, your spouse, your friends. Y'all
Your
have
close
y'all's own-
circle.
Your close circle.
Yeah.
So therefore, I will never fully know how he is 100% ever. Doesn't matter.
I
I
agree
could
with
I
that.
could be married to him for 50 years,
But that's the
and I would
key
never
part,
know that.
though.
That's what I'm saying.
But
So you
should
can't.
want to know someone to that degree.
So to that point, you don't. It shouldn't take you. It shouldn't take you 2 years to figure out if this is gonna be your person.
but
you
no,
know.
that's not true though. Because listen, I date. Do you remember James?
Yeah.
Okay.
Shout out to James.
Okay, that's the homie. But certified schizo.
Oh,
I did not know this shit for a whole year and a half. We didn't live together, but I'm staying over there 4 nights a week. You know what I mean? But that shit can be hidden like no other. That you can hide that very well. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, those types of things you probably can, but I
Yeah.
think if there's somebody that you really want to spend that time with,
you'll see
you'll
some like
you'll see
glimpses of
some
it.
glimpses of things, but even still, you might want to open up and let that person in, like, hey, you know,
And
Kelly,
that's
I love
true.
you. I want to spend the rest of my life with you,
Right.
but I've got some problems, and
Right.
I want you to know, because a guy
to
might
that-
not want to open up immediately because those are red flags.
But to that point, though, I feel like that's almost being manipulative. It is.
To a
It's manipulative
degree.
because
I can
if you,
see.
if you're my dang, I can't tell her that I'm schizo or that I'm bipolar because she might not want to go out on a second date with me. That's manipulative because I'm a firm believer you have to give that person a chance to make their own decisions.
Yeah.
And you can't wait until she loves me now, so boom, let me
Let me drop this bomb. Yeah.
Not crazy, but I have a disorder.
Yeah.
That's not fair because what if that's something that she can't deal with? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And now she loves you. So
Maybe
I
she
feel like
has
she
something-
Has to deal, yeah, so
she
now
has something
has
in
to
her
deal with it.
history,
Like,
Hold
yeah.
on, hold on. My rebuttal to that is, the average person doesn't typically know that they have some type of mental illness or disease in their late 30s and or 40s.
I'm gonna low key call a little bit of bullshit, not bullshit, but just like I'm gonna feel like I get what you're saying, right? But let me say this, if we're in our 30s, right, 35, you don't have some episodes in your teens, your 20s, or as a kid to where you think, dang, something's a little off. I'm not diagnosed with this shit, but I know my mood can be like this 1 second and like that another. You know something is off.
I disagree. There could be circumstances, studies show, and psychologists will say that if you've ever had a traumatic event happen to you, it automatically stunts your growth process. It does. It automatically will stunt
agree with that.
your way of thinking, your process, and the way that you handle emotions.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
one in every person will experience. 1 out of 5 people will experience something traumatic, and you'll take a kid that has never had any traumatic happenings to them from the age of, let's say, 2 all the way up to 10, and you take that same kid from 2 to 10, and they've witnessed several different things. They're automatically are more prone to PTSD, alcoholism, depression, anxiety.
And again,
And-
things that they are aware of.
But they don't know that when they're young. They don't know that.
Okay, right, but we're saying when you're young. But if I'm now 30, 35, and I'm going into a new relationship, and I know that that's something that I should disclose, like, okay, dang, I'm really feeling her at this point. I like her. I think we should move in together. I'm going to disclose, I might not have been diagnosed with this, but hey, listen, sometimes I have these moods. Sometimes I have PTSD, and this is what it looks like.
But some
That's
people.
something that you disclose
But what
to
if some
somebody.
people? But what if they don't know? So here's a
How do
good.
you not know though? How do you not know that?
'Cause
man,
you don't-
I was just watching The Simpsons and I'm hee high, and then now next second I'm crying my eyes out on the floor. That's the problem. You
That's
feel me?
not.
That's the fuck it is. Listen, let's go back to James Schizo, right? We watching a movie. I forget what we was watching, like Guess Who or some shit, a comedy, right? I look over, this man full blown crying, eyes looking up in the sky like he's talking to himself. This man looked me dead in my face and said, "Yeah, I'm talking to Sam Gold." My nigga, what? And you didn't feel like you should tell. And this is after a year and a half in. He was like, "Yeah, sometimes I'll talk to Sam Gold." Literally named it same Gold.
I feel like he knew. Then that's a different. But some people really don't. They don't know, or they
Okay.
don't.
So let's give grace.
Yes.
Some people don't know that
Some
they
people
have a
really
condition.
they don't know. But
So what do we say? Do you know after 6 months, like Steve Harvey says, right? Because he's love guru and whatnot. After 6 months in, do you know if you're gonna marry someone, man or woman? Whitney, after 6 months, do you know if you're gonna marry somebody?
yes,
Yes, Amari. After 6 months, do you know if you're gonna marry that girl?
I knew I was gonna marry her 2 months in.
But okay, outside of Whitney, your regular dating scene,
Oof.
did you know you just dating a girl for 6 months? Thing, yes or no?
Yeah.
Either way, if you're gonna marry them or not, or if they're just here. Just to
If they
fulfill
have
some
the
space.
potential, absolutely
Yeah.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think it will take me longer
Why?
because I'm very particular. Because I feel like after 6 months, 9 times out of 8, I'm gonna say 7 times out of 10, you haven't met that person's family. I'm a firm believer in you marry your family, that person's family.
I don't.
I do. I feel like I'm so big on family that if I haven't met your family within 8 months to a year, that's a red flag for me because that tells me that you're not big on family, and I want someone who is big on family.
Disclaimer.
So personally, it would be a red flag for me just because I want a man who's so big on family.
Okay, so
That's a preference thing, though.
I mean,
yeah, that's
okay.
definitely a preference because when I met Whitney, I was not big into family
I
at
thought
all.
he
She
was
thought
the
I
only
was a
kid.
single kid. For the longest time, she thought I was a single
No,
kid.
for real.
She talked. When did you talk to my sister? Probably
Like a month or two in, I was like, I didn't even know you had
siblings.
So, here's the
But
thing.
why was that not even a discussion during y'all's like
It didn't matter.
icebreakers? Like, do you have siblings? Oh yeah. I
No,
got
we
siblings.
did, but it was like I was like, oh, I just thought you was the only kid. But for me, I don't necessarily want to meet your family, and I don't believe that you're marrying
Really?
somebody's family. No, fuck no, because at the end of the day, when you get married, everybody else is your family's always going to be your family, regardless if you're married, single,
Right.
dating, whatever. But the minute that you say I do with that person, or the minute that you're really committed,
That's your family,
right?
right?
That's your family.
Yeah. I'm talking about like you and him. Now
We're
y'all-
family.
Right. Correct.
So everything else becomes second. So if you don't get along with the uncle, I guess I ain't cool with the uncle because look at it this way. If we were to split up or divorce, them family members are gonna be like, fuck her. More times often than not, unless you built a real solid
a really
rapport.
solid, yeah.
That's my whole point, though.
No,
Like, I
you
wanna
can't
be
marry
so
the
good with
family.
your family that y'all are my family.
Not
Like,
8 months
don't.
in.
I do.
Not 8 months in. Definitely not.
No,
Because
maybe not 8 months, but maybe after a year, yes. Like because I feel like okay, maybe again I go back to person because again I grew up with like a decent sized family and we were all close. We all had gatherings, that type of shit. So I feel like if you're not doing those type of things, it's not a red flag, but it's just something that I know I don't want to marry into because
Right.
I want that. I want that closeness. So I mean that's a preference thing.
I
Yeah.
feel like you could create closeness, and sometimes when you create it versus it already being established is actually better, because it gives people a way. It gives people a way to see, like, hey, you're totally different from me. You're coming from a different background. I'm not going to adopt your family traditions. I think we had a discussion about the
I
last
agree with
name.
that one.
I told him like I want to keep my last name, or we should create our own last name because really it's our lineage on what we're going to do in the
Yeah.
future. It doesn't. I don't care if you're a Jenkins or a Figueroa or a Walker. Let's create our own shit. No, I'm just saying, like,
No, really.
it's one of those conversation pieces where I think we get so wrapped up in I want
tradition.
your-
It's
Tradition.
tradition.
yeah,
Yeah.
and it doesn't have to be like that because not to be funny, it's not even our fucking real last name, so it don't
Okay,
fucking
okay.
matter.
We won't get into that. We won't get into that.
So, boom. All right, two things. And you just said.
All right, then
we're
we're done.
talking about. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
All right, so boom. Me and you was talking about one time at brunch. We said, "Is marriage still goals?" Right? Like, is
Mhm.
marriage still the goal? Before it used to be, right? You was supposed to get married, have the kids, blah blah blah. Do people still put enough focus on marriage as being like the ultimate goal after you meet someone?
You can't.
I'm gonna say it's not. I don't think marriage is as prominent as it once was for many of reasons. I think a lot of the times marriage before was done because you have to establish beneficiaries. You have to establish beneficiaries. You have to establish like stuff like that. Like if I'm in a hospital, who's gonna make these decisions? You got married, so that person have the right to do that, right? Now you don't have to. You have living wills. You can appoint
Yeah.
power of
That-
attorney.
yeah, that stuff was there, but I
It
don't.
was
I
there,
think
but-
the thing is, people back then, like our parents and our parents' parents, didn't really talk and discuss about those things,
Yeah.
which made it like this this taboo, like, oh boy, you
Yeah.
know, you got married.
Get married.
Well, it has to be your wife.
And have y'all read a marriage license? Have y'all actually read that shit? That's crazy.
She has.
I've looked at it. It's insane, the wordings of it. And if we want to go back to when weddings really started and all that shit, it was really done because most women at that point in time, they were at home, right? They
Yeah.
stayed at home, blah, 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 whatever. Now we're in a day and age where women, we low-key make
More than
money
men. Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so it's kind of fucked up, though, because a lot of women now are getting prenups. Like, we're initiating that shit.
Really?
Yes, if there was a study that shows it's a growing rate that women are initiating now more than ever. So, is marriage really the goal? I'm gonna say no, because I feel like you could, if you love someone, right? You're my partner. We're here. We're in this shit for the long haul. I don't want to have to sign a marriage certificate saying that we're
We're a
married.
thing,
Yeah,
yeah.
that for what? Like, I don't get it.
I can see that because
Love is not enough.
it's when you sign that marriage certificate,
That's
it's
all it is. It's a piece of
yeah.
It's a piece of paper at the end of the day.
At the end of the day, it is
It's
a piece of paper.
that y'all signed to say, oh,
You're
we're
allowing
committed. Yeah,
you're
this
allowing
thing's
another
allowing-
entity to
I want a
govern
piece of the
what
pie, I ain't
you
gonna lie.
and your
But
person
okay,
have said.
but my thing is this: if you want a piece of the pie, for what though? If in case y'all don't work out, you want a piece of.
No, I want a piece of the pie for my kids, not necessarily if we don't work out.
Boom! That's where trust funds come in.
Hold on.
Have something set up for your kids to where boom,
You
if you don't
can.
work out, they get this. It don't
You
have
can,
to go
you
to
can.
the ex-wife because if me personally, right? If I have a husband and he's daddy Warbucks, whatever, right? I don't necessarily feel entitled to what this man does day in and day out unless I really have a hand on what he's producing financially.
Mm-hmm.
I don't feel entitled
But
to that
you
man's
do.
money. I don't want half of his. I don't.
So, okay, so here's the thing. I don't want half, but I don't want half. I tell them all the time, we get a divorce, them is your fucking kids. I bet I
will
am
have
not
the
having
kids
so. I
24/7.
swear to God.
She will be the one with
I swear to
visitation.
God. I swear to God, and I'm gonna tell you why.
But you
Y'all
can go with
laughing?
hella kids,
Okay,
though,
but
with
you
siblings, though.
but you laughing. But real talk, this is how I look at it. Marriage is you're fine. Marriage is a contract, right?
It shouldn't be.
Hold on, but
But
not
it is.
not in that capacity what you think. So every hour, minute, time that I'm encouraging you to be better for yourself, I had a hand in that. I don't care how you cut it. I had a fucking hand
You
in
can't
it.
put monetary value on that.
You
though.
can't,
Yeah,
but I had a hand in it. I had a hand in it. I had a hand in it. If I encourage you to do it, I had a hand in it. That's just facts. Like, let's call a spade. It's facts, right? If you push me to do something better, I wouldn't have never done it if I didn't have that push or goal or whatever drive. You had a hand in it. When you're together for so long, the monetary amount, more times often than not, doesn't really matter. I think people
They
look
get
at that.
caught up on that.
They do. They get caught up on
Yeah.
it. But really, it's time investment. You're going to make several investments in life. You're going to make investments when you choose your partner, when you commit to a job, when you buy a house, and when you get a
I mean,
divorce.
look at Janet Jackson. She had a commitment to some
Fucking-
billionaire, married him for what, 3 years, and then divorced him and got half of his shit.
That's insane to
That's
me.
absolutely crazy.
That's crazy to me.
Hawaii.
And as a woman, I wouldn't even if you awarded it to me, I would not
It's
personally
like- it's
feel
kinda
right
like,
taking it. It's like, especially she's Janet Jackson, bitch, you got money.
You got money.
Like,
What are you doing?
What? Now,
But it
granted,
comes into the play in this. By that thought, no one should pay child support. And I only say that because, for what? You got it. You can do it without the child support.
No, time out.
No.
I'm not an advocate of child support. I'm an advocate of child. I can't.
I'm not an
say
advocate
that.
of child
I'm
support.
not an
This conversation
advocate
kinda
of it
went
because I
sideways.
feel like even if
I'm not. No.
I'm not either. Because even if that man sat there and told you, Becky Sue, I don't want no babies, and you made that decision to still go have that baby, knowing this man just told you to your face he don't want it, I feel like that's on you. A man should be able to sign off his rights, and a lot of men should start doing that too. Sign your fucking rights away.
You can't.
Why?
You
In
can't.
Ohio, you can.
No, you can't.
Since when?
I don't think it's that easy.
You can't. You have to prove.
Okay, well that's where the law
No.
fucked up.
Well,
because
I'm-
now women have the choice to keep a baby and force a man to pay. That's crazy
Yes,
to me.
and I know a situation. The I don't want to say her name. Was like that, and her ex-husband or boyfriend was molesting her daughter, and at that point, okay, your rights are gone. Now you're
That-
paying
but
child
that's-
support.
but that's an extreme.
Yeah, that's an
extreme
extreme
case. Okay.
That's an extreme.
where that must be. But in a typical situation,
Yeah.
if dad says, "Hey, I'm hands off,"
Yeah.
but at that same token, and I know we got completely
We did,
sidetracked
like-
with this, and I don't want to get into that. But at
Right.
what point is it between the parents and the government?
Yep.
And the parents, because as soon as the government gets involved, they're taking their cut because they want some of that money. But outside
Let's get back on track. Is marriage goals, Amari?
marriage goals, I
Is it still goals? Is
enjoy
it-
my marriage.
Yeah.
For me right now, yes.
Okay.
If I was dating out here nowadays, absolutely not.
Okay.
I just I would have to meet her all over again.
Oh, that's so cute. Y'all make me sick. Like, no,
I think I would agree because.
Yeah. It's different now. It really is.
Well, I'm not. I never thought marriage was goals. I never. If you would have asked me when I would get married, I would have said no.
Yeah.
And it's only because of my upbringing. I would have been like, fuck no. I told you people was surprised. You was surprised
I was
as fuck. Like you
surprised.
get married.
I was.
That was not my intention. That was not. I thought I would be the person. Like I would be like my sisters, 34,
Yeah.
35, no kids, just living life, traveling, doing whatever. And
Yeah.
just being me, because it was not. I'm a firm believer that you walk into life and every season is going to be different. So I never
Yeah.
was like, oh, I need to have kids by this age, or I need to be married by this age. So marriage, honestly, was never a goal for me.
Okay.
If it happened, it's great. And if it didn't, I'm 100% confident I would have been okay. If I was not married at almost 35, I would have been perfectly fine.
Okay. So, for me, is marriage a goal? Right.
Let's go.
Off rip, I'm gonna say no, but
Okay.
I'm gonna say because maybe I think that in my dating span that I've dated, the type of men that I've dated and stuff like that, maybe I just haven't been shown that that's a goal. You know what I mean? Like maybe a lot of the guys that I've dated, you know how you can talk to someone and you adapt their ideals, right? They kind of become yours, even if they wasn't before. It kind of like rubs off on you, like, dang, maybe marriage ain't it? Like da da da. If a man tells you, I don't ever want to get married, I don't understand it. It's a piece of paper, blah blah blah, and you didn't usually subscribe to that. But if you have enough men that you date say that shit, it becomes like, dang, maybe
is that really the thing?
Yeah, like
Yeah.
maybe it's not a goal. So maybe I haven't met the person who makes me feel like I want to get married. Now, at the end of the day, do I want to be 80 and alone? No. Nobody
does.
wants that. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But does it have to be a marriage? I don't necessarily think so.
It doesn't have to be.
Because I feel like if you're committed
I
to someone,
mean,
you're committed
what?
to them.
Amvani was married, but she traveled and did her own thing for the
Okay.
longest time.
So marriage wasn't a goal, but I had enough examples of what marriages look like.
Yeah.
So with that, I will tell you this. You can ask anybody I knew. I will never have any other kids with nobody but
Oh,
him.
agreed.
I don't care if we
Agreed.
divorce. Then if I wanted another baby, you better go ahead and pop it for pimp.
Hey,
Because
that's
I
what
swear to
said.
God,
I told Doug
I ain't
that
having.
shit.
I'm not having no more kids. Because I
Yeah.
always said one thing I did know is I did not want multiple baby dads. You want to
Yeah.
know why?
Yeah.
My mom was married to a man for 20 years and had 8 kids.
I agree.
And that was just not something I grew up with. All my aunt, they literally, everybody has the same dad.
I agree.
So I don't know nothing of, except for my dad, trendsetter.
Right.
I don't know nothing of, no, for real facts. I don't know. And even then, you only have 2. But
Yeah.
you was with one person for 20 some odd years with 8 kids. That is unheard of. If we divorce and I got baby fever, let's talk about some options because I want our kids to have the same last name.
Artificial assimilation, boom.
I'm
Y'all
not
ain't
doing
gotta
it.
Oh, I'm all for that. No, there's no artificial nothing. I'm going all in for that.
But goals, I say at the end of the day, you should love who you love.
Yes.
I think people should really watch or just show grace. I'm gonna leave off with I'm just gonna show grace in the
Okay.
beginning, middle, and end,
Okay.
like I did with you, and that's just gonna be the gist of it. Cause I believe in showing people grace. I don't know people's circumstances, what
Right.
they went through, their upbringing, what
Okay.
they feel about themselves now in the present, in the future. So the only thing I can do is just be nice. Even when I want to be mean, I'm just
I
gonna
like
be.
that.
Let's go ahead and get some applause for that. Yeah.
Yeah. Other than that, I'm not gonna stress
not
myself
gonna-
out about it.
Okay.
I used to
so-
not know you, so it really doesn't fucking matter.
You in this
Wow.
segment.
It's true.
So, for me, I think that to wrap that whole thing up, I agree with showing grace. I think that you love who you love. You can't help who you love.
Yes, you can.
I don't know. I don't believe you can help who you love, honestly. I think that I believe in partnership over love connection. I truly do. I think love can grow.
Yes.
I
it
think
can.
that if you're my friend and you're my partner, like we can talk about financial stuff together. We can talk about businesses together. We can talk about our like plan a future together. I'll take that. And the love part can grow because that aspect can show me like, man, if you can teach me something, that's my love language right there. Teach me. Like if I can learn from you, I love that. And if I can't, then I really don't see a future with you. And that can be from cooking. Show me different ways to clean this house on a regular. Because
Let me show you a new way to wipe your ass.
Yeah,
Here, take the
you know
toilet
what I
paper and do
mean?
this.
But just little stuff like I have to be able to learn from you in some capacity, and if I can't, it's never going to work for me. So I don't know.
Okay. I would probably say something to the same because I've learned quite a bit being with you, and it has definitely. I still have my problems, but I've definitely become a better person. I've become a better father with the lessons that I've learned being with you. So I would take that. I would take that.
Oh, 2 points
Teach
for
me
Kelly.
something.
Yes.
But like you said, love can be learned.
It sure can.
It sure can.
Love can be learned.
Love
Yes,
can be
it can
learned.
grow. Love can grow.
Well, yeah, love can
Love
grow.
can
It
grow.
can't be learned, but it can grow.
Right.
It can
But
grow.
it can be learned too because some people didn't
Start off that way.
see love growing up, so they don't know how to receive it. They just don't. So some people can learn how to love and how to receive it. So
That is true.
I think you can learn to love.
What you
That's
mean?
interesting.
You can.
That's good.
Well, thank y'all for joining in on this conversation.
It's been a long one,
It has.
but we're overdue. We are way overdue.
I'll holla.
We're gonna try and get better. We promise y'all.
Oh shit. All right, bye.
All right, we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.